It's exciting, obviously a big time of the year, particularly with the big auction, so a lot of time to try and think through combinations and permutations of what could happen in the auction. It's lots of phone calls, lots of meetings, understanding the players that we would really like and understanding what will happen if we're going to miss out on those players. So I think like all teams at this stage, they're just trying to work through everything that could potentially happen whilst prioritising one or two players and hopefully being able to secure them at the auction. I think it's just the fandom. I think obviously India being such a big country, the IPL's probably been the genesis of all these franchise teams, and so it was the original, so everyone's trying to imitate it, and the IPL just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's due to the Indian fans, but also the quality of the cricket and how well the teams have played for an extended period of time now. I think there's no weak links, and that's not to say that at the start that there were bad players, but you could I suppose it could be sometimes difficult to put together a playing 11. There'd be one or two spots that weren't quite as good as you hoped for, whereas now there's an abundance of talent that's Indian, that's overseas players, and every team has 11 very, very good players, plus an impact player, plus a decent squad. Then they have a lot of players to select from that can come to the team and make a difference. So I think it's the quality of the player that's improved as the tournaments have gone on. Get lucky at the auction. Hopefully no one else wants your players. I think for us, the fact that we tried to set a style in the way that we wanted to play last year, and how can we complement that this year, how can we embellish it, and how can we improve. So I think we're looking for those sorts of players that can play that style, but also some players that can offer something to complement the players that we already have. So it's about understanding what they can bring to the table, and hopefully they fit at Sunrisers. Well, I think they keep getting opportunities, and that's the amazing thing. They obviously proved themselves with an incredible IPLs last year, and that led to them both being selected for India, and it led to them both having tremendous performances for India, and in particular Nitesh getting his chance in the Test squad through his all-round performances. And it's nice to see the world seeing how good these two players are, particularly on some of the biggest stages. Both young players, both exceptionally talented, and both really good guys. So I think the cricketing world is at their feet, and the way that they work hard and the way that they enjoy the game, I can only see them taking it on and having great careers. We wanted the core, we wanted the pillars of the team, the guys who were most successful, and also they filled some spots that are not always the easiest to fulfill at an auction table. So the fact that they gave us so much flexibility within our playing 11, there's a number of them can do different roles, the likes of Nitesh and Abhi, who had that little bit of bowling, Klaas, who's obviously a wicket keeper, batter, and Paddy as our leader. All those little things factored into us being desperate to keep them and to want them to stay at Sunrisers for the next 3 years, and we're very grateful that they agreed. No, I think there's still the type of player that we want and the style. Now we just realise that the competition for that player is immense. So if we don't get that person, then what are our next options? And I think that's the thing that every franchise will be going through at the moment is, how can I secure the style of player that complements who we already have, and what happens if it becomes too difficult? So we're just trying to work through all those things, but also understanding that an auction can take you in 1,000 different directions, and hopefully we can be nimble and work with what's in front of us and be able to secure some really good players. I think there's a lot of players who you just know straight away are going to be obviously great IPL players, but they'd fit really well in the team. They'd love playing in Hyderabad. So those are the easy ones. It's the players that are new to you, the players that may not have done so well in IPLs before, but if you can put them in an environment that they really enjoy, then potentially they could thrive and be a difference maker for you. So for us, it's trying to identify those players, trying to identify the young players, and seeing if they can be part of the SRH team. I think it was Abhi copying Travis's celebration, not knowing what it meant. So obviously they formed a really unique bond in terms of as performers and as friends off the field. So to see those two sort of lead us and set the standard and set the tone that I think the team became known for as the season went on was amazing to see. I think it's a given that we want to play that way, and I think it's the same for every other team. I think you saw a number of teams in the IPL take on the game, be aggressive, and understand that they needed big scores to succeed in some of the venues. And I suppose the challenge for us now is, what can we do next? What can we add to that repertoire? And then I suppose that's what we're trying to establish at the moment, not only through the players that we can get at the auction, but also through the strategy that we're going to try and implement next season. Hopefully we can get a great team. I think the challenge for us is to improve on last year. We know we did really well making the final, but in these situations, these opportunities, it is a chance to try and get some players who can complement the 5 we have and go on a journey for these next 3 years. We're ready to play with fire again.